Chapter 1. Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, Napoleon Bonaparte would rise to become one of history's most formidable military leaders. His reign as Emperor of the French was marked by significant reforms, including the Napoleonic Code, which restructured the legal framework of France, and a series of military campaigns that reshaped the map of Europe. Napoleon's ambition knew no bounds. From his early victories in Italy to his audacious campaign in Egypt, he demonstrated a strategic brilliance that few could match. However, his desire for power also led to relentless warfare, and his ultimate downfall at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Under his leadership, France expanded its influence across the continent. Yet his legacy is one of both glory and controversy. While he brought order and stability to post-revolutionary France, his reign was also marked by a relentless pursuit of power and the imposition of his rule across Europe. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Hello to those joining us for the first time, and welcome back to our returning viewers. If you enjoy this journey through history, be sure to like and subscribe. Now, let's take a deep breath, get comfortable, and prepare for a detailed exploration of the life and legacy of Napoleon Bonaparte. Chapter 2. Napoleon Bonaparte's rise to power is deeply intertwined with the French Revolution, a time of immense change and upheaval that began in 1789. The revolution dismantled the old order, ending centuries of absolute monarchy and ushering in a republic. But with this new beginning came turmoil, internal strife, external threats, and economic instability, all creating the perfect storm for a strong leader to emerge. Napoleon, born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, was just a young, ambitious military officer when the revolution began. He quickly aligned himself with the revolutionary cause, seeing the potential for greatness. In 1793, at just 24 years old, Napoleon led the French forces to victory at the Siege of Toulon. This victory marked the beginning of his rapid ascent, earning him the rank of brigadier general. As the revolution progressed, France found itself at war with European coalitions determined to restore the monarchy. Napoleon's strategic brilliance and ability to inspire his troops set him apart. In 1796, he was given command of the French army in Italy, where he won a series of brilliant victories against the Austrians, securing French control over the region. Napoleon's successes in Italy not only cemented his reputation as a military genius, but also increased his political influence. By 1799, with France once again in chaos and the ruling directory losing control, Napoleon saw his opportunity. On November 9, 1799, he staged a coup d'etat, overthrowing the directory and establishing the consulate, with himself as First Consul. This marked his transition from military leader to political ruler. Under his leadership, France began to stabilize, recovering from the chaos of the revolution. Napoleon implemented reforms that centralized power and strengthened the state, laying the groundwork for his eventual proclamation as Emperor of the French in 1804. His rise from a young officer to the ruler of France is a testament to his extraordinary ambition, strategic acumen, and ability to seize opportunities during one of history's most turbulent periods. Chapter 3. Napoleon Bonaparte's military campaigns are legendary, etched in the annals of history as a testament to his unparalleled strategic genius. His rise as a formidable military leader began with the Italian campaign of 1796, where he led the French army to a series of decisive victories against the Austrian forces. Despite being outnumbered and under supply, Napoleon's innovative tactics, such as rapid movement and the concentration of forces, allowed him to outmaneuver and defeat his enemies, securing French dominance in northern Italy. These victories not only bolstered his reputation, but also demonstrated his ability to inspire his troops, turning a ragtag army into a formidable fighting force. Napoleon's success in Italy was followed by the ambitious Egyptian campaign in 1798. His aim was to disrupt British trade routes and expand French influence in the East. Although the campaign was ultimately a strategic failure due to the destruction of the French fleet at the Battle of the Nile, Napoleon's army achieved significant victories on land, including the famous Battle of the Pyramids. Napoleon's military prowess reached its zenith during the Napoleonic Wars, where he led France in a series of conflicts against various European coalitions. The Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, often referred to as the Battle of the Three Emperors, is considered one of his greatest triumphs. Outnumbered once again, Napoleon's brilliant use of deception and terrain allowed him to decisively defeat the combined Russian and Austrian armies, solidifying his reputation as one of history's greatest military strategists. However, Napoleon's unrelenting pursuit of expansion would eventually lead to his downfall. The ill-fated Russian campaign of 1812 marked the beginning of the end. Despite initial successes, the harsh Russian winter and extended supply lines devastated his Grande Army, leading to a catastrophic retreat. The defeat in Russia, followed by losses in subsequent battles, ultimately led to his abdication and exile. Napoleon's military campaigns are a complex blend of unparalleled success and ultimate tragedy. His legacy as a military genius endures, but so does the cautionary tale of ambition taken to its extreme. Chapter 4. Napoleon Bonaparte's ascent to political power is a story of ambition, strategy, and timing. By the late 1790s, France was in chaos. The French Revolution had overthrown the monarchy, but the new government, known as the Directory, was weak, corrupt, and struggling to maintain control. Amidst this turmoil, Napoleon, already a celebrated military leader, saw an opportunity to seize power. In 1799, while leading a military campaign in Egypt, Napoleon received reports of the growing instability in France. Sensing the vulnerability of the Directory, he made the bold decision to return to France, leaving his army behind. Upon his arrival, he was greeted as a hero, but his ambitions extended far beyond military glory. On November 9, 1799, Napoleon, with the support of key political allies and military leaders, executed a coup d'etat known as the Coup of 18 Brumaire. The Directory was dissolved, and a new government, the Consulate, was established. Napoleon was named First Consul, granting him near dictatorial powers. This marked the beginning of his transformation from a military commander to the de facto ruler of France. As First Consul, Napoleon wasted no time consolidating power. He introduced a series of reforms aimed at stabilizing the country and strengthening his control. These included the centralization of the government, the creation of the Napoleonic Code, and the establishment of a new education system. Napoleon's ability to balance authoritarian rule with popular reforms allowed him to maintain broad support among the French people. In 1802, Napoleon was named First Consul for life, further solidifying his grip on power. By 1804, the final step in his ascent was complete. Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French in a lavish ceremony, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. This act symbolized the end of the French Republic and the beginning of the Napoleonic Empire. Napoleon's rise to power was a masterclass in political maneuvering. His blend of military prowess, strategic alliances, and a careful manipulation of public opinion allowed him to turn the chaos of the revolution into an empire under his rule. Chapter 5. Napoleon Bonaparte's military campaigns, known as the Napoleonic Wars, had a profound impact on Europe and shaped the continent in ways that still resonate today. These wars, which spanned from 1803 to 1815, were a series of conflicts that pitted Napoleon's French Empire against various coalitions of European powers, including Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. Napoleon's early successes in these wars were nothing short of remarkable. His victories at battles like Austerlitz in 1805, where he decisively defeated the combined forces of Russia and Austria, and Austerlitz in 1806, where he crushed the Prussian army, solidified his reputation as one of history's greatest military commanders. These triumphs allowed Napoleon to extend French influence across much of Europe, creating a vast empire that included territories from the Iberian Peninsula to the borders of Russia. However, Napoleon's ambitions also led to widespread devastation. The relentless pursuit of expansion resulted in significant loss of life and resources across the continent. As Napoleon imposed his rule over conquered lands, he also introduced many of the reforms that had transformed France, such as the Napoleonic Code, which influenced legal systems throughout Europe. Despite these reforms, resistance to French domination grew. Nationalist movements began to rise in many occupied territories, and the costs of continual warfare started to erode Napoleon's power. The disastrous Russian campaign of 1812 marked a turning point. Napoleon's Grand Army, which had once seemed invincible, was decimated by the harsh winter and fierce Russian resistance. This defeat emboldened his enemies, leading to the formation of the Sixth Coalition and eventually his abdication in 1814. Even after his temporary return to power during the 100 Days in 1815, Napoleon was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo, marking the end of his rule and the Napoleonic Wars. The aftermath of these wars led to the Congress of Vienna, where European powers read the map of the continent, striving to restore balance and prevent future conflicts. The Napoleonic Wars left a lasting legacy, influencing not only military strategy, but also the political and social landscape of Europe. Napoleon's rise and fall reshaped the continent, leaving an indelible mark on history. Chapter 6. Napoleon Bonaparte's fall from power was as swift as his meteoric rise. After years of dominating Europe, his ambitions began to crumble with the disastrous Russian campaign of 1812. Napoleon's once mighty Grand Army was decimated by the brutal winter and relentless resistance. This defeat marked the beginning of his decline, shattering the aura of invincibility that had surrounded him for so long. Sensing his vulnerability, the European powers formed the Sixth Coalition, determined to end his rule. By 1814, Allied forces pushed into France and Paris fell. Faced with no other option, Napoleon abdicated on April 6, 1814, and was exiled to the small Mediterranean island of Elba. Though officially deposed, he was allowed to retain the title of emperor and given control over Elba, where he introduced modest reforms and maintained a semblance of leadership, but the flame of ambition still burned brightly within him. The restored Bourbon monarchy in France struggled to gain popular support, and discontent simmered. Sensing his opportunity, Napoleon escaped from Elba in February 1815. Landing in France to a wave of enthusiasm, he marched to Paris, regaining power in what would be called the 100 Days. However, his return alarmed the European powers. The Seventh Coalition, including Britain, Prussia, and Austria, swiftly united against him. The final battle took place at Waterloo on June 18, 1815. Despite his military genius, Napoleon was decisively defeated, ending his rule forever. Captured once more, he was sent to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, far from the intrigues of Europe. St. Helena was a desolate place, a stark contrast to the courts and battlefields he once knew. Here, Napoleon lived out his final years, reflecting on his legacy, writing memoirs, and contemplating his failures and triumphs. He died on May 5, 1821, far from the empire he had once built. Napoleon's fall is a tale of ambition and hubris, a stark reminder of how power can be fleeting and how the mightiest can be brought low by the tides of fate. Chapter 7. Napoleon Bonaparte's legacy is a complex tapestry of military brilliance, political ambition, and profound influence on modern Europe. Though his empire ultimately crumbled, his impact endures in ways that continue to shape our world today. Napoleon's military campaigns redefined the art of war, introducing tactics and strategies that are still studied in military academies worldwide. His ability to mobilize large armies, utilize rapid maneuvers, and concentrate forces at decisive points set new standards for warfare. Yet, Napoleon's influence extends far beyond the battlefield. One of his most enduring legacies is the Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal framework that became the foundation for legal systems across Europe and beyond. This code established principles such as equality before the law, the secular nature of the state, and property rights, fundamentally reshaping civil law. and promoting individual rights in a way that continues to resonate today. Napoleon also brought significant administrative and educational reforms, centralizing the French government and creating institutions that still function in France. His emphasis on meritocracy allowed talented individuals, regardless of their social background, to rise within the state apparatus, a concept that has influenced public administration globally. However, his legacy is not without controversy. While many praise his reforms and military genius, others criticize his authoritarian rule and the immense human cost of his wars. The Napoleonic Wars left millions dead, reshaped national borders, and sowed the seeds of nationalism that would lead to further conflicts in the 19th and 20th centuries. After his death in 1821, Napoleon's legend only grew. Some viewed him as a hero and a visionary who sought to spread the ideals of the French Revolution. Others saw him as a tyrant whose insatiable ambition brought suffering and strife. Today, Napoleon remains a figure of fascination, a man who rose from modest beginnings to reshape the world around him. His legacy is a reminder of the complexities of power and the impact one individual can have on the course of history.